Oh, you're so crazy. Okay, let's see. Is it going to be backwards on here? Because it looks backwards. All right, the economics quote of the day is investing should be more like watching paint dry or watching grass grow. If you want excitement, take $800 and go to Las Vegas. And that's by Paul Samuelson, who I have absolutely no idea who he is. I just found the quote and thought it was cool. So, but I'm sure Paul is just an amazing guy. Came up with a good quote. Let's see, I think who we are. All right, so we're going to talk about this for a minute. Good morning. This is actually recording right now. So, if you're investing, you hear about day trading. Who's heard about day trading? All right, day trading is when you buy and sell stocks.
Are you saying day trading?
Yeah, day trading.
I thought you were saying day trading.
Day trading? Day trading.
Oh.
I'm sorry. So no one's ever heard of day trading? Okay, that's when you buy and sell stocks on a daily basis, and you're to be a true day trader, you should be closed out at the end of the day, which means you should have sold all your stocks at the end of the day. So what you're doing is you're looking for upticks, things that you think will make your stock go up. And let's say that you're trading in a stock that's $20. If it goes up to 21 that day, if you can buy it at 20, sell it at 21, you get a 5% increase, and then you dump it at the end of the day. So you go back and you have 0 stocks bought at the end of the day. You just have money in an account, and that's real exciting. So let me tell you a quick story about day trading. So many years ago, and this is like super exciting kind of stuff. My cousin and I went to a day trading seminar in Atlanta. We were going to be day traders. And so they got us in this room, and they had a lot of cool music when you walked in, and it's sort of bright lights, and it was flashy, and they were trying to sell us on it. And so they said that we had to have, I can't remember how much it was in the account, but at the time, he and I, we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. And that's before we started tinkering around with real estate. We were trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And so we were both salesmen at the time, and both of our bosses were meanies, and we were trying to figure out something else. And so we went to the seminar, and they were doing the clapping thing, and cheer, cheer, rah, rah. It was a cheerleading seminar, sort of, kind of, to get you pumped up about day trading. But we didn't have the money to do it, so we left, and we made plans on how we could get the money, but we never did it. So anyway, fast forward a couple of years, we saw on the news that there was a shooting at a day trading place in Atlanta. Sure enough, it was exactly where we were at, and in the building, because they had computers that you could use, and you could day trade on their computers. And some guy had done exactly what we wanted to do, only he did it, and he lost all his money day trading. And so he went in there with some kind of a weapon and shot about 10 people in that building and injured a bunch and killed a bunch. And we were like, thank goodness we weren't there. We didn't do it. But it's not because we didn't want to. It's because they got us all pumped up about it. So anyway, now that's exciting, right? Now exciting can be good, it can be bad. Agreed? Agreed, Cameron? Yeah. Exciting can be good, it can be bad. But here's the thing. Most investments are, I think, I'm going to make a statement. I hate to say all, but most investments are not exciting long term. So let me give you our most good investments. So let me give you an example. You buy a rental house. Now, can that be exciting initially? Yes. Yeah. Or you buy a house that you're going to flip. You know what I mean by flip? We're going to talk, actually, next class period, we're going to talk about flipping houses. Today we're going to talk about rental property. And I'm going to tell you personal stuff about rental property, okay, and experiences in my life. But if you buy a house to flip, that can be real exciting. I actually used to lift little Nina up, and she would be involved in criminal acts with me. I would go look at a foreclosed house or a junky house that needed a lot of work, and I wouldn't want to call anybody about it. Sometimes there wasn't even a sign out front, so I'd break into the house. And I think more than once, I lifted Nina up as a little bitty girl. That's before she was a big one. And I'd lift Nina up, and she would crawl in the window and then go over and unlock the door for me, and then we'd walk around the house, and then we'd I took care of some stuff to help them out a couple of times, but then we'd lock the door on the way out and close the window and actually lock the window so nobody else could do any criminal activities like us. The reason being is I wanted to look at the house to see if I could make an offer on it. And I'm sorry, Nina, cousin. That's why she's such a despicable person, because I started her off in life. Started her off in life breaking the law. But now that can be exciting initially, right? If you're looking at a house, or at least it is for me. I mean, I would much rather go look at foreclosed houses than go to Disney World. I don't like theme parks, but I love looking at foreclosed houses or junky houses that need fixed that I think I can get a good deal on. That's exciting. But when you buy it and then you're fixing it up, and 2 months later you're working on the sheetrock and you're painting and all that, is that exciting? Nothing exciting about that. In fact, that's just a grudging, arduous, stinky task, right? And you're cleaning up stuff, and I've done all kinds of stuff, scraped dead squirrels and rats off of the floor. We call it the dead squirrel and rat house that I bought in Cloud Springs exit right before you get to Tennessee. And it had dead squirrels and rats in it. We'll talk about that later. But nothing exciting about that. And when you invest in the stock market, it should not be exciting. And every month when we invest in the stock market, isn't that exciting? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. She doesn't know. And you know what? I don't know. Because I set it in motion many years ago. I set it in motion. You didn't know we did that, did you? I set it in motion many years ago. It comes out of my paycheck here in a 403B. It's just bank drafted or deducted straight out with at the central office. And so, you know how you have taxes and Social Security and all these things taken out of your paycheck, and insurance? Another one is my 403B money. It comes straight out. So my take-home pay that's left over, it already has some investments taken out. And then I also have money that comes out straight out of my bank account that goes into Roth IRA money, which is separate investments. And I set that in motion years ago. I don't do anything. All I do is when I check my budget, and we'll spend a day on budgets also. When I check the budget, I see that so much money has been deducted from my bank account. And some of it goes into my Roth IRA, and if you don't know what a Roth IRA is, that's okay, because we're going to talk about it. And then some of it goes into my wife's Roth IRA, and it goes there automatically. It's bank drafted. Y'all know what bank drafted is?
Pops right out of the bank.
Right, hops straight out. Electronic, it happens, and you tell it you want it to happen on the 3rd day of the month. Why does a teacher have a lot of their bank drafting done on I say, around the 3rd of the month? Guess when we get paid?
The first of the month.
The last day of each month. So we'll get paid 30 days, September, April, June, and November. There's 31 days in August, right? So we'll get paid on August 31st, or I think if that's on like a Sunday, we'll get paid on that Friday. But regardless, we get paid right at the end of the month. So I don't want to put it on the 1st of the month to make sure that the money's in there. Yeah, to make sure it's processed and all that stuff. So I have everything bank drafted on about the 3rd or the 5th, something like that, of the month. So I have money that goes off into mutual funds, and money goes into mutual funds and other places, and it's all done. Now, is that exciting?
No.
No, I don't even know it happens. It just does it. Electronic money shooting through the wires, you know, through the little phone lines or whatever. And so it just happens. And I set it in motion. Nothing exciting about it. So it's like watching paint dry or watching the grass grow. Nothing exciting, but over the course of time, what does it end up doing? It grows. It grows and it compounds. And so then you check in a few months, you check your stocks or your mutual funds. I like mutual funds, just they're brainless sort of for dumb people like me that don't have time to keep up with all stuff, and it's not as risky. And we'll talk about that more later. But you check it in a few months and you've got, I don't know, whatever, $1,000 in there. And you're like, yeah, come on. And then you check it a year from now, and then you got $2,000, $3,000, $5,000. Let's say $5,000 in there, or $3,000, whatever. And you go, wow. And then your mutual fund grows 8% that year. And so you get added interest, we'll call it interest, even though it's not really the same, but it's sort of kind of. You get additional money and it grows. And then you forget about it. You know, you get to where you get those statements in the mail, and you know what you do with them? The statements that tell you how much you got in your investments. You know what we do with them? Throw them in the garbage. Why? It's not exciting. You just look at it. You go, whatever, and you look at them the first, you know, at first when you first start getting them, and then you quit looking at them, and years later, they just go in the garbage. Then one day you open it up and you're like, what? I've got X number of dollars in here. It's grown to this. And it might not be life-changing. It might not be like millions of dollars, but for just, you know, good old normal people, it's a good little chunk of money in there, right? And it just dripped in there. Boom, boom, boom. Every month it just goes in there, and then it grows a little bit, it grows and grows. And then the stock market goes down and it shrinks, and you're like, oh no. But I didn't check it, so I didn't care, because I didn't look at it. Who cares? It's gonna grow. I'm looking at long term, right? Am I looking at cashing my investments in today? Or next year? No.
Like when you're old.
Like when I'm just like Super Bowl.
Yeah.
When they make me pull it out at 70 and a half, we'll talk about those ages. But I'm not even looking at pulling it out at 59 and a half when I can. Because I should have enough to take care of me at that point. You gotta start pulling it out when you're 70 and a half, and we'll talk about those numbers, so don't let any of this that I'm saying scare you or intimidate you. We'll write all that stuff down, I'll give it to you, but here's the thing. We're looking at long term. And so that's the goal. So I'm just letting my paint dry and my grass grow as I rock along and go to volleyball games and work on a wall behind my house so I can throw some gravel in it. And all my little house projects, right? I'm not worried about this stuff. It takes care of itself. And so, anyway, that's what this quote is talking about right here. All right, let me stop this.